everyone. Thank you for joining us for episode 3 of the CMMC Chronicles, a mini-series through Common Sense Commanders by Security Squared. This is called Blood Makes the Grass Grow. Rah, rah, rah. We're going to dive in. We're going to talk about the correct pronunciation for CMMC implementation as we believe it should be. We're going to cover items around information security program, predatory practices reported recently in the CMMC ecosystem, the concept of the turnkey solution, and finally, we're going to briefly cover certifications and toilet paper. Diving right in, the correct pronunciation for CMMC implementation is, in fact, information security program. The concept around CMMC level 1, level 2, and level 3 is protecting information security or protecting information through security practices. Apologies. And of course, that means we must implement an information security program. So talking about predatory practices first, recent updates surrounding the CMMC ecosystem include echoes across the DIB involving predatory practices from companies offering to help contractors get certified. This includes, but is not limited to, people who are posing as or happen to actually be IT professionals or consultants that offer to help set it and forget it for NIST 800-171 implementation. The concept that if you just implement technology, everything will be fine. One of my favorites that I like to hear, buy something new, that'll fix it. And of course, there are many more, but we don't necessarily have time to talk about everything because I think most people want to have time to do something else that's a little bit more fun than just listen to this. So diving into the turnkey or the turnkey solution. There are a lot of offerings out there, and we're not here to say that the concept of a turnkey solution is necessarily bad. But the problem is that the concept of the turnkey solution often fuzzes over some other important functions for an organization implementing NIST 800-171 and the concept of an information security program, which means not everything actually can be rolled up into turnkey. So a few required domains in NIST 800-171 AT or security awareness training. Security awareness training includes the requirements to train all of your users involving cybersecurity and security awareness. There are also additional controls and objectives that cover training your administrators and people who have security function or control over the environment. So that is not always necessarily fixed by giving everybody the same cyber hygiene classes and calling it a day. It's also good to update that on a regular basis or on a periodic basis, at least at minimum. Annual, sometimes more is better. Personnel security is another domain. This includes background checks and, of course, making sure that you are focusing on insider threat. Keep in mind that insider threat does not necessarily mean that people that you hire are bad people. Insider threat can actually be an innocent function. And of course, access control, which is the first domain in NIST 800-171. All of these other domains roll into access control. So, of course, we want to talk about security assessment and risk assessment. A security assessment is supposed to be performed periodically. Okay, we usually recommend at least annually. And, of course, you may have requirements to at least submit into the SPRS or SIPRS, however you pronounce it, portal, a score of your information security system for the federal government. That includes assessing yourself against all domains in NIST 800-171. What is often confused, of course, is the final domain, RA, or risk assessment. Risk assessment includes the following statement in 311.01. Periodically assess the risk to organizational operations, including mission, functions, image, or reputation. This includes organizational assets, individuals resulting from operation of organizational systems, and associated processing, storage, or transmission of CUI. So this says, hey, make sure that you're controlling and assessing risk to controlled unclassified information. It also states that you should be focusing on, threats, vulnerabilities, likelihood, and impact to organizational operations. This bleeds into the concept of risk management or business risk management. And so, of course, again, the concept periodically is not necessarily synonymous with the phrase turnkey, because once you turn something on, it's good to go, right? That's the idea. There are a lot of other areas in these domains that need to be observed. So we're going to talk about certifications in toilet paper. A long time ago, a senior project manager looked at me after I had passed a class and an exam, and I had earned a certification in information technology, and he informed me that the moment that I got the paper certificate associated with that exam, he was going to take that with him to the office bathroom. Luckily, I was able to save the certificate, but it got me thinking, because there are a lot of professionals out there that believe that at the end of the day, getting a certification, well, if you just have a certification, that is synonymous with just having another fancy piece of toilet paper. And that really isn't the case in the CMMC ecosystem. Supporting the CMMC ecosystem, there are the implementers. Those are the RPOs, or the Registered Practitioner Organizations. They include RPAs and RPs, registered practitioners, either advanced or just simply registered practitioners. And these are people that, if nothing else, have made the effort, attempt, and paid some of the fees and dues required to sit through, the program training and make sure they understand what it is that they're supposed to be looking at in order to help implement things. The Cyber EF, of course, is also focused on recently looking to revamp and upgrade this area so that contractors have better support out in the field. And then, of course, within the CMMC ecosystem, there are the professionals and the assessors, the C3PAO, Certified Third-Party Assessment Organizations, the lead CCA or CMMC Certified Assessor, the CCAs, and then, of course, the CMMC Certified Professionals, which, just a highlight on the CCP, those are professionals who, while limited capabilities in a CMMC assessment, they get to straddle the fence on implementation and understanding how to implement 800-171, as well as how an assessment is supposed to function. So that is also a prerequisite before you even become a CCA or a lead CCA. The point is, certifications are not synonymous with toilet paper in this ecosystem. So the saying, blood makes the grass grow, usually this is about, infighting and war and sacrifice. And what we, of course, want to do is talk very briefly about how to avoid growing the grass at your own expense. And so for leadership teams, owners, and contractors and organizations looking for help to implement NIST 800-171 and adhere with CMMC requirements, start with the concept of an information security program as the requirement and look to see how it may end up being a financial center for your organization in maintaining or even winning new contracts. Second, when looking for a consultant, it's not all about that person you know. What's important, or just as important, maybe more, are, do they have credentials, including certifications? Do they have experience? And, knowledge matters. Knowledge matters in how to implement an information security program and keep it running. This is critical. Finally, this isn't a fix and forget it kind of thing. The expectation of a contract, whether you're required to have a third-party certification or not, includes having a business mindset and a capability to protect not only what is yours, such as proprietary information or your own trade secrets, but also what you get from your customers, including primes or the Department of War / Department of Defense. So we're going to wrap it up. Essentially, get someone who's dedicated to understanding your business before they tell you to buy a bunch of stuff. Make sure they're both certified and experienced. And then, of course, consider business risks during the process to make sure that you're safe. Please stay tuned for the next episode. We're excited to try to put you to sleep with a new one.